Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ahmad Roghib Musthofa, and I am from the English course major from the University Islamic of Sultan Haji Muhammad Idris, Samarinda. And in this video, I will explain to you what the meaning of language and linguistic. Here in the first page, you can see there are 4 points, which number 1 is language and linguistic. The point number 2 is nature of language. The point number 3 is characteristics of language. And the point number 4 is micro and macro linguistic. Move to the point number 1, language and linguistic. The meaning of language is a system of arbitrary vocal symbols that used for human communication, or a system of conventional spoken, manual, or written symbols by means of which human beings to express themselves. The meaning of linguistic is the scientific study of language, and its focus is the systematic investigation of the properties of particular languages as well as the characteristic of language in general. Move to point number 2 is nature of language. There are 5 natures of language. The point number 1 is language is a specific human characteristic that makes them different from other creatures, such like animals and plants. The point number 2 is language is a main tool of communication. The point number 3, language is a method of human communications, either spoken and written. And the point number 4 is a system of conventional spoken, manual, or written symbols by means of which human beings, as members of social group and participant in its culture, express themselves. And point number 5, the last point, is language is a system of arbitrary vocal symbols used for human communication. The term arbitrary does not mean that everything about language is unpredictable, for languages do not vary in every possible way. Move to the next point is point number 3. We have characteristic of language. There are 8 characteristics of language, which number 1 is language is a sound. Number 2, language is a systematic. Number 3, language is a system of a system. Number 4, language is meaningful. Number 5, language is arbitrary. Number 6, language is conventional. Number 7, language is creative. And number 8, language are unique. Move to the next point is micro and macro linguistic. In this slide, you can see micro linguistic have 4 points, which number 1 is phonology. Phonology is the system or study of sound structure in language. Number 2 is morphology, the study of form of things. Number 3 is syntax, the arrangement of words in sentences. And the last point is number 4 is semantics, the study of meaning in language. Move to the next one is macro-linguistic. Macro-linguistic, which include meanings, and especially with socio-linguistics, which studies how language and meaning function within human social system. Macro-linguistic is broadest view of language. And then, why we should study linguistics? Apart from simply understanding the intricacies of world languages, this knowledge can be applied to improving communication skills between people, contributing to translation activities, assisting in literacy efforts, and treating speech disorder. And maybe that's all from me. And thanks for listening to me. And wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.